Good evening and welcome to the Integrity Racing League Next Gen Series. This is the Snow Free 200 at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. We have a 134 lap event here at at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway, and qualifying has just begun here as we look at Sam Nieto and the number 2 car coming out on track. I was here for a lot of practice in standby mode, and seems like people were getting very loose here. Uh, but Sam Nieto is starting his flying lap, and it looks like the bottom lane is going to be his lane of choice for his first lap. And still going to the inside, coming to his flying lap right now. Haven't seen yet whether a first lap or a second lap is going to be the way to go, but a 29.999 for Sam Nieto on his first lap, gets really close to the wall on exit. Let's see if he can set anything faster than his first lap with those warmer tires. More grip in those tires, so should be more speed theoretically off the corner. Keeps it off the wall. Let's see what time he will set. A 30.020, so slightly slower. So it looks like it might be a lap one time. Currently, your pole sitter is the number 28 of Ryan Bean, who's running more of a middle to high line, it seems. Coming to finish his flying lap, a 29.828. Seems like a lot of people are setting their fast laps on their first laps. Just over halfway through qualifying at the moment, and it looks like, I believe we have almost 40 people registered for this event. Looking at the 61 of John DeBarro, and yeah, it looks like a lot of people are choosing that high line as their lane of choice. And maybe that will be the passing lane here at old Atlanta. You know, you run the bottom to save tires, but if you want to make a move on someone, you move up to that high line and get that big run off the corner. A 29.903 for John DeBarro, putting him in 14th on his first lap. Maybe he can set something a little bit better. Coming on his flying lap, running a little bit lower than all the way up top, trying to take the shorter way around while trying to preserve as much momentum from that high line as possible. This is shaping up to be something pretty good. At 29.877, gonna put him in 15th, just over a minute or just under a minute and a half to go. And Ethan Lane is currently your pole sitter with a 29.591. Eric McFarland in that dazzling blue and orange number 33, coming to finish his flying lap, a 29.998 for him. He will be in 6th place with a 29.751. DJ Stagner in the number 64, setting his first laps as he scrapes the wall a little bit. That's not going to be good for his qualifying hopes, especially so late into the qualifying session. If he can cross the line before about 30 seconds, which looks like that won't be happening, it looks like DJ Stagner won't be qualifying. But someone who might be setting a qualifying lap is the 51, assuming that he didn't hit the wall in 1 and 2. Running high up is Mr. Wetmore, and that number 51, Tom Wetmore, coming out of the corner all close to the wall, but able to set a clean lap. A 29.610 pole vaults him to the third position. A flying lap from Mr. Wetmore. Not enough to put him in the pole position, but very close. So let's go to your starting lineup. Now that qualifying is over. Oh, we actually have a little bit of a warm-up right now. So let's go to our camera that changes between various drivers. So currently in warm-up, and let's get a look at the weather. So it's 79 degrees out here at the virtual Old Atlanta Speedway. Winds blowing westward at 3 miles per hour, and it is partly cloudy right now. And just scrolling through the field as drivers get a feel for what race conditions might be like in this short 5-minute warm-up. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw 41 drivers registered for this 134 lap event. So we have a big old field, and it looks like these cars are going to be a handful, especially once the tires wear. I saw a bunch of people in practice getting loose off the corner. So maybe it has a very might be a little bit tight on entry and then happy with the tail on exit. But currently leading the standing, or topping the charts, I should say, in warm-up is the number 2 of Sam Nieto, then followed by the 91 of Aaron Kovnat in that nice-looking FTN Broadcasting 91 car. But 2.5 minutes of warm-up left before we get your starting lineup kicked off right here. And this will be the second race of the season for the 2026 Integrity Next-Gen season. I'm covering for your normal broadcaster and commentator David because of that huge snowstorm that the Northeast had. He wasn't able to get home to his computer in time, so he asked me, and I only got a couple inches that very easily came loose. It was very fluffy snow, unlike the evil snow that Maryland got a couple weeks ago that was mostly ice. But I'm your host. My name is Garrett Hess. We still got about 1.5 minutes of warm-up left. And I will be calling this race. I'll be calling this race from flag to flag. But big thanks to David at Fireball Talks NASCAR for giving me the opportunity to sub in for him. And I'll tell you what, something that often doesn't get mentioned, a lot of good-looking cars here. A lot of good-looking paint schemes in the field from what I've seen. So we may have a eye candy treat for us here tonight. But as warm-up is winding down, let's get started with your starting lineup so I have a little bit more wiggle room since we have such a big field. So starting on that's not right. Hold on 1 second. Is that right? Let me go to standby real quick just to make sure. That is the correct is the correct qualifying order. Yes, it is. Okay, just wanted to make sure. So, starting on pole is going to be the number 44 of Blake Cannon. And on his outside is going to be the number 84 of Ethan Lane. Rounding out your front row here for the snow-free 200 at Old Atlanta. Starting in third is the 51 of Tom Wetmore, then followed by the 28 of Ryan Bean on his outside in the fourth position. And let me just set a camera real quick. Okay. And starting in the fifth position is the number 5 of Robert Richardson. And then on his outside in sixth, first car outside of the top 5 is going to be the number 14 of Brock Potter. Inside of row number 4 is going to be the number 33 of Eric McFarland in seventh position. On his outside is the 91 of Aaron Kovnat, who seemed very fast in warm-ups. Inside of row number 5 is going to be the 20 of Zach Schreitenthal. And on his outside, rounding out your top 10, is the number 05 of Thomas Lind. And 11th on the inside of row number 6 is going to be the number 45 of Nate Campbell. On his outside is going to be the number 47 of Don Stevenson. Inside of row number 7 is going to be the 35 of Tom Howe. And on his outside is going to be the number 48 of Christopher Schetzler, sorry. Inside of row number 8 is going to be the number 24 of Andrew K. Hamilton in 15th position. And on his outside is going to be the 97 of Nicholas Ward. Inside of row number 9 is going to be Cody Smith and Bobby Keith. Inside of row number 10, rounding out your top 20 is going to be the 61 of John DeBarra and David Davis. And we're going to speed through the rest of this. Row 11, Nolan Potter, Brant McClendon. Row 12, Kevin P. Matz, Ryan Potter. Row 13, Alex Kim and Nick Terbuck. Row 14, Aaron Eads and Troy Green in that number 29. Row 15, rounding out your top 30, the 31 of Austin Cardulas and Josh Gallagher in that 96. Sam Nieto in the 2 in row number 16, and Jacob Fife in the number 36, rounding out row 16. Row 17, Eli Cars and Joe Yakes. Sean Kalist, Matthew Cornell. Matt Jennis, Alan Rowe. Trevor Trago, DJ Stagner. And rounding out your field of 42, Brad Patton and Randy Fayash. It's going to be Blake Cannon leading the field to the green flag here. 134 laps here at Old Atlanta. And we're here for a treat. Pace car pulls into pit lane. We're going to be going green flag racing soon. Green flag is out here at Old Atlanta. Blake Cannon gets about an equal restart with Ethan Lane. Both cars about dead even as they enter turn 1, but advantage to that inside car of Blake Cannon. But if Ethan Lane can hold alongside, he might have a great run down the back stretch. Looks like that inside line did not get a good start at all. Most cars filing out to the outside, and Ethan Lane already nosing ahead to the lead using that outside line. Blake Cannon sliding up just a little bit, enough to give him some side draft and pull that 84 back, and it's going to be Cannon leading the field to finish the first lap of 134 here. We got about an hour and a half of racing, or about an hour and 5 minutes of green flag racing, flag to flag, as we got 3 wide in the back there. Can't tell exactly who that is, but they sorted it out right before turn 3. It looks like it was Davis, McClendon, and Kim thinking about going 3, but they thought differently of it, as Ethan Lane to the inside, and that is Ryan Bean, the number 28, powering to the outside. So while we were looking towards the back, I think Blake Cannon might have had a little bit of a loose moment and slid back a little bit. Now it's his time to regather the car and try to work back to the front. But Ryan Bean has really separated himself from the rest of this field. You can see Ethan Lane at number 84 already about half a second behind Ryan Bean, and they are 3 wide for third place. That's Potter, Cannon, and Kovnat all duking it out for the third position. Looks like Cannon is the wisest man out of them all to back out early, to not cause anything, not to cause any trouble early on in the race. Atlanta is a big tire shredder, so maybe he is taking it easy for long-term dividends here. Looking back through the field, that number 5 car of Robert Richardson trying to make a move on the 51 of Wetmore. He's got the preferred outside line out of the corner. It looks like he's going to make the move stick as Wetmore going to file in right behind that 51 car. But you can see the different lines being taken through the corners. You can see some people running about a middle line and some people running all the way on the bottom. And that's looks like it's pretty much by choice. Because you can see like the 5 and the 44 running up like a lane up from the bottom, a lane and a half up from the bottom. So maybe they get better rotation up there, but at what cost will that be to your tires? As we have a car on the apron for a second. That's Zach Streithenthal. Looks like he got whatever that was resolved as. Oh, he's on the apron again through the grass. Something's up with that 20 car. Gave the 12 of McClendon a little bit of a spook and almost comes back up into Kim. So maybe his screen's gone black or something. He's lost like a video feed or something because that car is all over the place. I'm not sure if he really knows where he is, but it looks like he's able to get that car stuck to the apron out of harm's way. He's gonna pull it down pit lane, or maybe not. But either way, back at the front, Kovnat has made it up to the second position and starting to hunt down Ryan Bean in that number 28. This is really going to be a battle of who can preserve tires more, as we have the 14 of Potter off through the grass. Looks like he was able to merge back safely without causing any issues. So I think maybe we are having some loose issues, as they're 3 wide with Potter trying to get back to speed in that 14 car. 3 wide with, I believe that is Cardules, and that was the number 6 of Keith for a second. But back towards the front, Robert Richardson has slowly moved his number 5 Chevy towards the front. And it's a Chevy 1, 2, 3, with the first non-Chevy being that 84 of Lane, as they just lapped the number 99 of Ryan Potter on the apron down there. But ever since taking the lead for about 7 laps, it's been the Ryan Bean show. Further in the back, we're looking at Eric McFarland battling side by side with his 05 of Thomas Lynn. Lynn going to get a good run off the corner and take the spot. So we have a stopped car on the apron. I believe that is oh yeah, that's Alan Roll, and that car is not handling it. Oh, and he spins it back on track and hits the outside wall, but no oncoming traffic. So it looks like that won't be a caution, thankfully. We're still keeping it clean and green here. 12 laps into the race. I think I need to lower the volume just a smidge. There we go. But 12 laps in the books thus far. And these drivers certainly have their hands full. As I think McFarland had a little bit of a loose moment on the bottom and had to check up, and that allowed a couple cars to get past him, so he's going to fall back to 14th from about 10th. Nate Campbell in the 45 is also making his way through the field, as we have a battle for second between Richardson and Kovnat, and you can see Ethan Lane starting to make his way back into the fold, as they have caught that number 28 of of Ryan Bean. And that Kovnat's got a huge head of steam on that 28. It looks like Bean might have used up his stuff a little bit too quickly as Kovnat looks to the outside. Bean comes to block it. And now Kovnat going to give Bean a little bit of a shove down the back straightaway. But he's got his inside full of Ethan Lane. And Lane's going to go 3 wide for the lead. He's going to get past Kovnat, but he's going to be side by side with that 28 car. Bean with the run off the corner going to clear the 84 across the start finish line. And now Bean has to contend with Kovnat for that second position. But Ethan Lane doing a great job of holding that bottom lane. Gonna slot in right in between Kovnat and Bean. And see in the back, Wetmore getting passed by Ward in that number 97. But here comes Ethan Lane looking for the lead on the bottom. A little bit loose and almost gets into the 28, able to save it. Good avoidance by both drivers to keep it clean. But it looks like the faster car right now is going to be that number 84 as he's going to get the move done coming out of turn 2. And we have a new leader in the number 84. As we have a car in the wall in the back. I believe that's Tom Howe in the number 35. And that car, judging by that right front, it's taking a hefty lick to that outside wall. That car is definitely all out of sorts. So Howe is going to need to find a way to get down pit road pretty quickly to stop the bleeding, essentially. As we're looking at the 48 of Christopher Schetzler in 8th place right now. Looking to make something happen on that 97, but not able to get anything done as the 12 of McClendon looks to his inside, but doesn't have the run. Oh, McClendon scrapes the wall a little bit. This is going to open the door for Landon, the 05, to his inside. But Lynn does not jump on the opportunity, and right behind him is a battle for 11th spot between Don Stevenson and Eric McFarland. And Stevenson gonna have the edge on the exit of the corner, but McFarland looks like he's not going to give it to him just yet. But Stevenson definitely going to be ahead. But we have a battle reigniting for the lead between Bean and Lane. Ryan Bean got a run off the corner, was able to side draft that 84 of Ethan Lane across the start-finish line and lead that last lap. But we've really got to study what Bean is doing to his tires, because surely you're going faster up top. You're also using more tire up near that wall. So how long will this be viable for? But Bean is able to clear Lane, and now Kovnat back into the mix for this lead battle. It's a three-way battle with Blake Cannon on the outside looking in that number 44. But I think those moves that he made earlier to not push very hard is going to pay out in spades if we don't get a caution. And here comes Kovnat looking 3, not gonna act on it, as Lane is gonna poke ahead through the center of the corner and gonna lead that lap, just barely edging out Lane, or Bean, I apologize. And now Kovnat looking to the inside of Ryan Bean. Kovnat not going to be able to get anything on that 28, as it has really singled out for I'd say the top 10, 15 cars here. Besides this battle for second place, but it looks like they're not able to get anything done as Lane firmly asserts himself in the lead here. Going back to Schetzler in the 48. Looking to make something happen on Wetmore. But Wetmore able to hold his ground for the time being. See if there's any battling going on in the back. As you can see, Brock Potter under fire from John DeBarro in the 61. But right in front of him, David Davis on the inside of Bobby Keith for the 16th position. And looks like Davis going to be able... Oh, not yet. Keith with a big run on that outside and that matte black Ford. But surely Davis going to have, yeah, he's going to clear that 6 car. And they are 3 wide right behind him. Or they were for a second until DeBarro backed out. But Brock Potter trying to regain the positions that he lost from that earlier off-track excursion. To get himself into a more favorable position. Maybe if we get a caution sometime, so we can get a new set of tires on that car. But further back through the front, they're certainly getting more racy. As you can see, Wetmore was thinking about trying to make something happen on Nicholas Ward. But for second place, Kovnat to the inside of Bean, and he's going to make the move stick before the center of the corner. But here comes Blake Cannon as well with a huge head of steam, able to get to the inside of Bean and maybe even have a run on Kovnat. Not yet. Gets side drafted a little bit by Ryan Bean, but third place looks like it's in the cards for Cannon if he can make this move stick. But Kovnat gets a little bit tight in the corner, and Cannon has to check up. Kovnat gets loose. I don't know if he got tapped by Cannon, but Kovnat all sorts of loose. Great save by that 91 car. Oh, keep it straight, brother. We have another car going off in the back. I don't know who that is. I think it's the 8 as Kovnat gets loose. Oh, geez. It's going crazy here. That wasn't the 8. I couldn't tell who that black car was in the back, but Kovnat hemorrhages a bunch of positions. Trying to get that car righted. And those tires are just so hot. You try to get back on the gas to get that speed back up, and it's just like driving on ice. But right now, that little spin has given Ethan Lane a huge gap over the second place car of Ryan Bean, who has to contend with a very fast number 44 of Blake Cannon all over him. And Cannon looks like he's going to try to get the side draft on the quarter panel of Ryan Bean in that 28 car. So to the inside with a big lunge comes Blake Cannon, and he's going to make the move stick without much fuss. Scrapes the wall a little bit, but it doesn't kill his momentum out of the corner. You see the 35 of Howe back on track after his damage. But Cannon has about a second to make up on Ethan Lane if he wants to battle for the lead. And speaking of battling, Tom Wetmore looking to the inside of Nicholas Ward for the 5th position. Wetmore looks like he's going to have the move made on that 97 of Ward, but don't count out McClendon in the number 12 just yet, because he's looking very fast. A little bit of a wiggle from that 97. This might open the door for McClendon to pull it down if he can, and it looks like that's going to be the golden ticket for 6th place for McClendon. If he can make this move stick through the center of the corner, not clear of the 97 just yet. Might need another wiggle from that 97 to get around him again. But with how these cars are handling, that is definitely not out of the question. But back in second, like I said, as we have a car spinning on the inside. I don't know who that's. Oh, that's Kovnat. Ever since that spin, yeah, it's really just gone from bad to worse for that 91 car. Looks like he's able to get it straight. I don't know if he hit the inside wall or not. I don't think that he... Oh, I see a little bit of damage on that left front. That's tough for that 91 car. Will he pull it back down pit lane? No, he's going to merge back on track. But like I was saying, I was just about to mention, Blake Cannon in that number 44 is starting to reel in Ethan Lane. Last lap for Lane, a 31.33. Last lap for Cannon, a 31.18. As the caution does come out. Oh, we see 2 cars spinning. That's Troy Green and Matthew Cornell. Wasn't able to catch the cause of that, but we can certainly get a replay going. So just give me 1 sec to see what caused the first yellow of tonight's event quite late into the run. 32 laps out of 134 complete, and we have our first caution here and integrity. So looking at the 29 of Troy Green in our slow-mo cam coming out of turn 2, you can see that back end just start to step out. It looks like that bottom lane does not have a lot of grip once the tires start wearing. And yeah, you can just see how sideways a 29 car gets. And, well, let's go back to him for a second. And he's just trying to save it. It's so hard to save these next-gen cars. Let's see what happened to the 88. Oh, it looks like a parallel thing right there. Gets loose on exit trying to save it, and then just these cars are so easy to overcorrect. And then 2 spun cars come sliding back up to the bottom lane of the track, going to bring out a caution 10 out of 10 times. But someone who has seemingly leapfrogged everyone under caution while we were looking at the replay is that number 9 of Brad Patton. Looks like he went down pit lane without taking tires. And then Blake Cannon, maybe only right side tires for him, because he had an 8.2 second pit stop when almost everyone was setting, you know, high 14, low 15 second pit stop times. So maybe Cannon either went fuel only to save a set, or fuel only maybe to save a set, or right sides only to save a set of left sides. I'm not too sure. But either way, strategy definitely in play now, as Blake Cannon, as I believe, by the way he's warming up those tires, he probably took right sides, because I think that if you only took fuel, you'd be trying not to weave a little bit to minimize any tire warming. But your top 5 right now, as we're about to go back to the green flag, is Blake Cannon, Ethan Lane, Ryan Bean, Nate Campbell, and Nicholas Ward. We'll be going green flag racing on lap number 35. And it's going to be Blake Cannon on maybe older tires, leading the field back to the green here. Pace car is in, the 44, once again in the lead, and green flag is out here at Atlanta. And Blake Cannon gets about an equal start with Ethan Lane. It's going to be a test in the corners to see the difference between these two cars. And Ethan Lane has got one heck of a run on that 44. So maybe Cannon just took right sides, as Nate Campbell into third place, going to look around Cannon in that 44. Yeah, just so much more grip on these newer tires that Cannon is most likely going to fall like a rock here. As he's already under fire from the 28 of Bean. Bean running all the way up top, as the field really getting spread out in terms of distance to each other. But Nate Campbell to the outside for the lead. And it looks like Ethan Lane going back to saving his stuff for the time being. It looks like he might not put too much of a fight against Ryan Bean either. But Nate Campbell leads his first laps of tonight's event, as Nicholas Ward has moved up into the 4th position. But Campbell still running about a lane higher than everyone else, as people are getting really close to the wall back there. We saw, I think that was Davis, and then number 13 and 8 almost scraping the wall. But Campbell definitely running a different lane compared to these other drivers. And we saw how that bit Ryan Bean in the early goings of this race. and how Bean, Lane, Ward, and now McClendon up in the 5th is definitely taking it easier on their tires, as we have a battle for the 9th position right now between DeBarro and McFarland. McFarland up top, DeBarro on the bottom, and it looks like McFarland might be able to get the run made on DeBarro, as Whitmore chops down to block DeBarro's charge on the bottom. You see Ethan Lane actually starting to slide back too, so maybe he's really conserving his stuff, because now McClendon is getting past him. But DeBarro, we got 3 wide between Joe Yates, DeBarro, and Tom Wetmore. Oh, that got really dicey really quick as they're trying to navigate that 44 of Cannon. Yeah, he's definitely on older tires than everyone else, and starting to really feel the effects of it as he's getting split left, right, and center here at Atlanta. But still a battle between Yates and DeBarro. So Yates in the 87 Castrol car and DeBarro in the 61 DraftKings car. Both of them are Fords, trying to jockey for that 9th position. And it looks like Yates might be able to have the move made, but as I say that, DeBarro really throws it into the bottom here. But Yates is probably going to have the good run out of the corner to be able to clear that 61. And here comes the 73 of Kim, looking to the outside of DeBarro to not allow him to slide up into line. And you see Robert Richardson in the 5, back to 14th. So looks like he's going to try to save his stuff too. Don Stevenson in 15th, doing a good job in that number 47 of keeping that nose clean. And see the 64 of DJ Stagner started all the way pretty much almost in last, making a 3-wide move on Kim and Brad Patton. Might be able to make it stick and might even get McFarland as a bonus, but he's gonna have to get past the 61 of DeBarro first to make that a reality. But for the lead, Ryan Bean is really starting to catch that 45 of Nate Campbell. But he's got Brant McClendon all over. McClendon almost gets into the back, and we have McFarland going off. Big hit to the inside for that number 33. And yeah, that left front is killed, and that's so unfortunate for the 33 of Eric McFarland. But going back to the battle for second place, it is McClendon up top and Bean all the way on the bottom. You can see David Davis in the 13 running that high line, and Ethan Lane in that orange number 84 PNC car back in 5th. But McClendon trying to build up a run on Nate Campbell, as Bean looks like he's opting to save his stuff, let the leaders battle it out and burn up their stuff while he conserves on the bottom. As McClendon looking to the outside of Campbell, he's there. We have a battle for the lead, and he's got the run down the backstretch. New leader Brant McClendon as they fly into turn 3, and now McClendon trying to get to the bottom. Campbell still running that middle line, as I think that car is losing a lot of speed and does not have the grip that it used to have with how hard he was pushing it on that restart. But like I mentioned earlier, DJ Stagner started in, I believe, 40th position, and he is battling with Joe Yates right now for that 5th spot. But Yates gets the run into turn 3, gonna have the move made, as Stagner had to chop off Brad Patton to cut off his run. But 46 out of 130, or 47 now out of 134 complete, as McClendon looks to widen his gap over Campbell. But Stagner trying to get to the outside of Patton. Patton got really squirrely. Great save by that 9 car, not hit the wall or Stagner. Great save by Patton And you can see the effect that tire wear is having on these cars. They're losing speed. We got comers and goers, and we also got very, very loose cars here at Atlanta. But here comes Ethan Lane on the bottom in that number 84. He's hungry for some positions that to make back up, because I truly think that Lane is ultra tire saving right now with how much of a tire burner Atlanta tends to be. And what I mean by tire burner is it's very heavy on the tires, which affect their grip and how ultimately how fast these cars go in the corner. It's Atlanta. This is a very old surface, and these cars are going still about 180 into the corner and maintaining a speed of about 165 through the corner here. So that's a lot of force to be putting on the tires, especially with this worn out asphalt here at Atlanta. And it looks like that's starting to bite McClendon too, as his what was once a 4/10 of a second lead over Campbell has now shrunk to 2/10 as a great save, another great save by that 9 of Patton. We saw tire smoke out of the right rear of that car, and he out of turn 2, and he was able to keep it straight and not get into anyone. But that's gonna be one very loose car from here on out, now that he has really heated up that right rear tire for that 9 car. But looking back to Ryan Bean, as we have a caution out, as the 82 of Eli Cars was reported as going into the grass. So let's see what brought out this caution really quick. Second caution of the race, lap 51 of 134 here. So it actually wasn't the 82 of cars at all. But let's get a feed going real quick before I tell you what exactly happened. So we're currently looking at the 14 of Brock Potter running that high line. And it looks like the 90 kind of chops him off. Yeah, the 90 comes up, and essentially that's the 90 of Sean Kalist, and that makes the 14 get super tight through the quad oval, and then he bounces off the wall right in front of the 29. Nowhere for the 29 to go. That's the 29 of Troy Green. And then see what happened after this. Oh yeah, that car broke loose after bouncing across the Legends oval, and he has it locked down. He does the right thing by getting it locked down, and luckily everyone else does a great job of avoiding him. But that's a tough break for the 14 and the 29. But a very lucky break for a driver like Brent McClendon, who was starting to get hounded by the 45 and the rest of the field. But it looks like a lot of these drivers are staying out, and maybe this is what the 40... Yeah, Blake Cannon, who did not take tires the last time by, is now taking tires. And he is going to essentially be on a fresh set here. So maybe he only took fuel last time, and the only drivers ahead of him that took tires last time as well is the 55 of Randy Fayash, the 50 of Kevin Metz, and the 96 of Josh Gallagher. And 20 laps might not seem like a lot, but 20 laps of race pace here at Atlanta is going to make a world of a difference. So if we have a long green flag run here, the people who pitted are going to be very well off. But pace car lights are out, and your top 5 as it stands right now: Brent McClendon, Nate Campbell, Ryan Bean, David Davis, Joe Yakes. Your top 5. Standing into the top 10 is going to be DJ Stagner, Ethan Lay, Nicholas Ward, Brad Patton, and John DeBarro. That's your top 10 right now as the field gets sorted out. Coming to the green flag. Tell you what, it's going to be very interesting to see what Josh Gallagher, Kevin Matz, especially Blake Cannon with how fast he was on new tires, Ryan Potter, Sam Nieto, Nolan Potter, all these drivers who are on the lead lap now and are on fresher tires. It seems like almost everyone from 24th to 36th is on new tires. So pace car is in. We're about to go green flag racing. Green flag is out. Brent McClendon with a good start over Nate Campbell. And they're still side by side entering turn 1. McClendon going to be almost able to clear Campbell as Ryan Bean looks to the inside of both of them coming out of turn 2. And Bean's going to be actually he's going to have company with Ethan Lane on his outside. So we have a 4-way battle for the lead here with Joe Yakes looking on from the outside in. But side by side for second place right behind the leader here, as Campbell might have gotten a little bit tight on entry, and he had to give up a little bit of speed to Bean, but he's going to get a great run on exit. And Campbell's going to be able to hold off Ryan Bean for the time being. And he's going to look to the inside of McClendon for a second. Not able to get there just yet, but he might have something coming through the quad oval. As he's going to try to peek to the inside. He's there. Here comes Campbell to the inside of Brent McClendon for the lead as they make contact. Both cars getting a little bit tight. And that's going to slow them up a lot. Here comes Bean in the 28. Pushing McClendon past Campbell. So McClendon is clear. Ryan Bean is not. Ethan Lane looking to the inside of that number 45. As we might have 3 wide for a second. Bean had to step out of it. But they are side by side, 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Campbell to the point into turn 1. And he's going to get really tight or slide up a lot. And looks like McClendon tried to slide up behind Campbell, but Bean was there. So Campbell back to the lead here on lap number 58, as these cars are really starting to struggle with handling, it seems. But they are all very tightly grouped together as Campbell, and we do have a caution coming out. I don't know exactly who's it for. Let's see. Is there anyone stopped on track right now? Oh, yes, we see Andrew Hamilton in the number 24, slow to get rolling again. So let's see what caused this caution. I believe this is caution number 5 for tonight. So let's see what caused this. So looking at the 24 of Andrew Hamilton, he's got Aaron Eads on his outside. And it looks like he just got loose and overcorrected in front of that 0-1. And nothing that Eads could do. I'm sure that he's not too happy about that, but that sometimes happens, especially since they were on older tires. It gets very loose on the bottom here. And yeah, tough break for both Hamilton and Aaron Eads. Hopefully they'll be able to get those cars back in good shape, as that's a lot of front end damage on that 0-1. But the leaders still not choosing to pit here at Atlanta. As I will be right back in just 1 minute. Okay, I have returned. Had to relieve some personal necessities, for lack of a better word. Even broadcasters have to do that sometimes. But it looks like the pace car lights will be out, and a lot of people still not taking tires after 28 laps. So people like Blake Cannon, they're going to be on a lot fresher tires. Even if they are slightly worn because they have a couple laps in them, that's going to be a big advantage down the stretch. But your top 5 right now: Ryan Bean, Nate Campbell, Brent McClendon, Ethan Lane, and David Davis right now. But we will be going green flag racing back on lap number 63. Still got about 40 minutes of green flag racing, so don't go anywhere just yet, because we still have a race to decide here. Nate Campbell once again going to lead the field. Back to the green flag. Pace car is in, and the green flag is out. Campbell with a very good start over Bean. That's Ethan Lane getting really sideways as he's gonna fall back through the field. I couldn't get to his car quick enough, as it looks like he's able to keep it going. Got a lot of wheel spin. That's something you got to really look out for on older tires, is wheel spin. But that's going to be essentially a gift to Nate Campbell, as he's going to have about a half a second lead over Joe Yakes in that 87, who's now under fire from Ryan Bean in the 28. So Bean running all the way on the bottom. It's going to be Yakes up top, and Bean's going to be able to clear Yakes as Yakes tries to make the crossover happen down the backstretch. Not able to make it happen, as Wetmore starting to work his way through the field after that little stack up with Lane. He's going to have a big run on Yakes coming out of the corner here. No doubt about it. Wetmore is going to have the advantage coming into the corner. He might even clear Yakes with how big of a run that was, and yes, he does, and he shuts the door right in Yakes' face, gives him a lot of dirty air, and that's going to put Yakes in the wall. Yakes might not be too happy about that, but that's just the way these next-gen cars race. They're very sensitive to air. But Nate Campbell starting to feel the pressure from Ryan Bean a little bit. Bean has closed that gap from half a second down to 1/10 of a second. Not to mention how fast Tom Wetmore looks. But a lot of cars singling out towards the top there, especially considering how many of them are on older tires. I think that top side just has more grip on exit. So you might be able to make something happen on the bottom, but you run the risk of just getting so darn loose out of the corner here. As Wetmore scrapes the wall a little bit, but he's going to have a huge run on Bean through the center of the corner. Does it look to the outside of that 28? As, sideways for McClendon. Great save by that 12 car, but he's gonna get freight trained on the outside here. As Alex Kim in the 73 looking to make a move, and McClendon gets loose, and and the tap from Kim is going to send him around, and the 91 of Kovnot. That's K-List involved. Nowhere for Kovnot to go. That's very unfortunate. I think McClendon burnt up that right rear a little bit, tried to get it going, got sideways again, and then Kim right behind him, just no place to go. Let's get a replay. I mean, we essentially saw what happened, but let's get a replay of what Kovnot saw, because that is not what he wanted to see. Let's get a roll bar camera going here for him, because that is just very unfortunate for the driver of that 91 car. So kind of just cruising back here. The back, you see the wreck happening in front of him. He's slowing down, and he couldn't expect the 12 to be there, and then he gets hit by K-List. Nowhere for that 91 car to go, and that car is struggling. That car is struggling for power, so he might be down on power. Since he hit the 12 pretty much head on. But looks like we do have some takers in pit road that were part of the leaders finally. Nate Campbell is the first car off of pit road. Joe Yakes, John DeBarro, Nolan Potter, Alex Kim, all deciding to take tires this time. So they're going to be on about 10 race flaps fresher tires than people like Blake Cannon. And I'd say 25 to 30 lap fresher tires than Ryan Bean and Tom Wetmore. So we have multiple layers of strategy now, as we have just broken past halfway here at Atlanta. Pace car lights are off. It's going to be Ryan Bean on the inside and Tom Wetmore. And with that shakeup, on pit road, your top 5 is looking like Ryan Bean, Tom Wetmore, DJ Stagner, Brad Patton, and Nicholas Ward. Your top 5, and then extending past that, David Davis in the 13 and 6th, Robert Richardson, Cody Smith, someone we haven't talked about all day, Ryan Potter, who started the race a lap down in 9th, and then Nick Tarabuck in the 4. So just being consistent and keeping the car straight has certainly paid dividends for some of these drivers. Especially Ryan Potter is in a very good spot. He's the highest of the cars who pitted 2 cautions ago. So while he might not have as fresh tires as someone like Nate Campbell or Joe Yakes, he's still going to have fresher tires than Ryan Bean and Tom Wetmore. But pace car going to pull in. It's going to be Ryan Bean in the nice looking Mobil 1 car leading us to the green flag. Tom Wetmore gets a little bit sideways, able to keep the car straight as they get through the gears. He's going to try to cut off Stagner, and Stagner is going to file in line for 3rd place. Very, very cordial start for the top 3, but here comes David Davis to the inside, all the way on the bottom, leading the charge on the bottom to the inside of Brad Patton. Going to try to slide in between him and Ward, but we have a battle for the lead. Bean and Wetmore. Wetmore looking to take the lead from Bean. So Wetmore's going to have a big run and they were about dead even coming across the start-finish line, but give that lap lead to Tom Wetmore. And now Wetmore, is he going to try the slide job coming out of the corner? Not yet. Bean had too much of a run on that high side, and now Bean going to power by Wetmore on that high side. Wetmore really should have gone up to try to side draft and slow the momentum of that 28. But Wetmore running the middle again, gets a little bit loose, but able to power through it. And they're going to be dead even once again. Give the advantage to Bean across the start-finish line. But Wetmore on the bottom, going to try to slide up in front of Bean, and he gets it done. Going to give a big, hefty load of dirty air to that 28. As we have Cody Smith in that number 18 looking to the inside of Ryan Potter. And now he's got Robert Richardson all over his back bumper. But Bean looking to mount a charge on that 51 of Wetmore. Here comes Bean, not able to get close enough to Wetmore despite running that higher line. 61 laps to go here as Brad Patton, who we saw make a couple of great saves early on in the race, starting to catch up to the back end of Stagner in third place. You can see Davis and Smith battling for position. Really close race between Blake Cannon and Nick Tarabuck in the 4. Robert Richardson has been back and forth, and speaking of back and forth, Ethan Lane has clawed his way back up into the 9th position after his restart mishap. But we got 3 wide with Tarabuck, Cannon, and Richardson. Oh, things are going to get really tight. There goes Richardson around. Oh, that's going to be a hard hit into the inside wall. Oh, yeah, that fender is gone. Richardson's not going to be too happy about that because that's surely going to be the end of his race. Will he be able to keep it on the apron? Yes, he will. Yeah, that left front suspension is destroyed. Unfortunate end for Richardson as Stagner running all the way up top, and Ryan Potter making moves here as he's actually running about a tenth faster than the leaders with those fresher tires. And he is committed to running the bottom in that number 99. It's hard to believe that he started the race 1 lap down, and he has made it all the way up into the top 5, battling with Brad Patton for that 4th spot. And you can see Ethan Lane, the only other car right now, it's trying to use that bottom lane as he slid up right in front of Blake Cannon and got a little bit sideways in front of him. Now Cannon going to take that opportunity to get past Lane. So Lane with some worn tires trying to hold up as best as he can as Andrew Hamilton, who we saw make heavy contact with Kovnat and spin out earlier, is up into the top 10. As we were looking at Brad Patton, looks like he might have had a little bit of a moment and dropped back a bunch as he's going to get passed by Cannon. So Cannon up into 5th place, and now Patton not even safe from that 84 car. For the lead, though, Tom Wetmore leading Ryan Bean, who is trying his hardest to get around him, but not able to make anything happen right now. But now they have company in the form of Ryan Potter and Nicholas Ward. Ward on the same set of tires as Wetmore and Bean, and Potter on a fresher, not much fresher, but a fresher set of tires than these two. I think Potter actually got a little bit loose and went through the grass a little bit. He's going to lose all those spots that he worked very hard to gain. And that's just part of this type of racing, as we have 3 wide for a second as Patton continues to slide back. They get around Cody Smith as Campbell with a daring move. He's the highest of the cars that pitted most recently. And he's certainly putting those fresher Goodyears to good use as, Hamilton got loose and slid up in front of Campbell. That could have been a big accident, but Campbell had the foresight to back out of it. But further through the field, Blake Cannon going to try to get around Ward, as you saw how loose Campbell just got getting around Hamilton. Bean still running all the way up top as Cannon gonna easily get past Ward in 3 and 4. And now Ward has to deal with the 84 of Ethan Lane. These two battling for the 4th position. Ward might have put a little bit too much heat in those older tires, trying to catch up to the leaders. As Wetmore is really having to fight off a charge from Bean, as we have the 0-5 of that is Thomas Lind hitting the inside wall. As, yeah, that left front is really pushed in. That car is not handling right at all. That might be the end of Lind's day. Yeah, you can see just how much that that right front or that left front is taken out. As we, oh no, we have a big development here. Tom Wetmore's right front is destroyed here. So that was your leader. Now what's going to definitely be out of the race with that destroyed right front. We were looking at the 0-5 and then the 51. Not expecting that at all, but now it's Ryan Bean in the lead, and now he's under fire from Blake Cannon trying to get his lead back. To the inside comes Cannon. Bean with Lane right behind him. And Cannon running that middle lane on those fresher Goodyears. He's going to make the move stick through the center of the corner. And now Lane with a huge head of steam, as you just saw Wetmore pull in a pit lane. But Bean is really using up those tires, and he might get passed by the 84 of Lane here soon. But not yet. But Blake Cannon pulling up ahead of Bean, and now Ethan Lane looking to the inside of Ryan Bean. Oh, that almost got really close between the two drivers, but they're able to keep it off of each other, and now they have to navigate the 12 of Brant McClendon. McClendon gets a little bit tight, and I think Lane was not very used to running that lane, so he had to get off the gas a little bit. Couldn't stay alongside that 28, but he's definitely going to try again to get to the inside of the 28 here for second place. Here comes Ethan Lane to the bottom. And, oh, Bean actually got a little bit loose up top, had to sacrifice some speed to save that car. So these cars are getting very, very loose side by side between the 84 and 28. Something that I've noticed is that they're actually keeping about a 4/10 of a second gap to the leader. But of course, with them battling, that's going to change. As Ethan Lane still not able to get past Bean, almost gets clear, but not yet. A quarter panel of difference between second and third here. As Lane really sending it in to 1 and 2, still not able to get it done. It's just that top lane is just slightly better through the center of the corner to keep that 84 from being able to clear. But Bean gets really loose. He's gonna keep it straight. No, he won't. Oh, he collects the 73 of Kim. Alex Kim around. This is surely gonna bring up the caution.
Stop the count.
As Ryan Bean got loose. That car was still very light when he tried to get it going, and just barely clipped that 73 car. I don't think we really need a replay for that. We saw what happened as it was going. Very unfortunate for Alex Kim. As Blake Cannon catches up to the pace car. So let me fix the intervals a little bit because it's all over the place. Cars pulling down pit lane. As it just seems like my intervals are not working all too well. So for what it's worth, the first car lapped is actually Brant McClendon in the 12 car, but Cannon going in for right sides. As you see, DeBarro comes out ahead of both of them. He's going to get left sides. Yes, both him and Lane are going to get left sides. And considering how long Ethan Lane stayed out, him and Blake Cannon should be on the same set of tires. As looks like Campbell took fuel only. Then DeBarro went through pit lane, but did not stop. As you can see, Tom Wetmore back out on track, 5 laps down. After making heavy contact, while we're under caution, why don't we see what happened to Wetmore? So looking at Wetmore into 3. Oh, he gets really sideways on entry. Maybe. And then that car just got really light as he was trying to correct it, and it just hooked straight into the outside wall. Maybe the 28 of Bean took some air off that spoiler. But 2 cars have stayed out from that last green flag run. It is Jacob Fife and Sean Kalist. And, well, we can count John DeBarro in that as well. So the front row all on older tires. Front row and third place. All on older tires. And then Nate Campbell on slightly older tires than everyone else. And then the real new tire takers is going to start with Blake Cannon on back. So a bold move from these drivers, maybe the 36 and 90, trying to get back in step with the tire sets that everyone else is on. And or maybe they're trying to save for a
green.
Another tire set, as Kalis did not get a good start at all. Jacob Fife with a great restart. That inside line going to power by that outside line, as Kalis still struggling to get going. Nate Campbell probably not happy that he's stuck behind the 90 as he gets absolutely freight trained. But now Jacob Fife staying to the top lane. Looks like he's going to be pretty eager to let everyone by. Blake Cannon making it 3 wide through the middle on John DeBarro and Jacob Fife. Cannon all the way to that high side. He's going to have a great run on exit. Andrew K. Hamilton has made his way up into the top 5, getting around 5. And now he's going to have Ethan Lane looking to his inside. Very aggressive move by Lane, but he's going to get to the inside regardless. As we have 3 wide racing in the back. Kalis gets turned by Davis. And the caution is out. Everyone scatters to avoid the 90 and 13. Let's see what happened between these 2 drivers, as Kalis has to make a 3-point turn to get it going. So looking at the 13 of David Davis, and Kalis gets tight, hits the wall. I mean, nowhere. I mean, Davis actually avoids Kalis hitting the wall, and then Kalis, I mean, the speed difference kind of just brings David Davis into Kalis. That really wasn't Davis's fault. That was just more wrong place, wrong time. And then you just had to give up a ton of time and positions because the car in front of him was trying to get back on the tire cycle. So now I'm wondering if John DeBarro will come into pit lane this time by. And it looks like the answer is no. So Blake Cannon in the lead in the best position right now. So we have another lap of pacing before we go green flag racing once again. As the 51 of Wetmore taking the lucky dog. He's actually the first car one lap down. So if he gets if he gets 4 more cautions, he will be back on the lead lap. But I think he's just trying to run to take advantage of attrition and get whatever points that he can get early on in the season. We're still pacing. Looks like we'll be going green with 37 to go here. As someone just blew up in pit lane. I couldn't exactly tell who that was. I believe that was the 5 of Robert Richardson, 20 laps down. I believe that car blew up and overheated on pit lane. Unfortunate for the 5 car. It looks like he will not be making it back on track. So your top 5 as it stands right now is going to be Blake Cannon, John DeBarro, Andrew K. Hamilton, Ethan Lane, Jacob Fife. Your top 5. Then Nick Tarabuck, Nicholas Ward, Joe Yakes, Troy Green, and Nate Campbell, your top 10. Troy Green with a good recovery. We saw how he got involved in an incident with the 91 car earlier on in the race. His name's escaping me right now. Kovnat, sorry. Aaron Kovnat getting involved with an incident with him. And Troy Green all the way back up into 9th. So good recovery from him to put himself back in a good position with 38 coming to 37 to go. But in the best position right now, it is Blake Cannon, our pole sitter in the 44 car. Strategy has been very kind to him. Pace car is in. He's going to lead the field to the green flag. Another restart here at Atlanta, and a great start for Blake Cannon. One could say that he fired out of the restart like a cannon, but looking 3 wide through the middle here is going to be Ethan Lane in the 84, going to split Hamilton and DeBarro. DeBarro forced to go all the way up top. You can see Fife in the 36. He's gonna peel to the bottom since he's on older tires. But Lane with that move moves himself into the 2nd spot, and he's gonna really be pushing these tires to catch that 44 of Cannon. But for 3rd place, Hamilton battling with the 61 of DeBarro. And Hamilton going to get it done. Campbell's in the wall. Nate Campbell in the wall. Looks like he might have just overdriven the corner, but he's going to hemorrhage spots. He's all the way back into the 25th position right now and still falling backwards as they're 3 wide right behind him. And a little bit of contact between Lind and Alex Kim. But back towards the front, Ethan Lane and Blake Cannon battling for the lead. Lane on the bottom, Cannon in the middle. 35 laps to go. And Ethan Lane has reasserted himself as the leader of this race. Fife, you can see all the way up top with Patton getting in the wall just a little bit. Yeah, you see the 36 of Fife running all the way up top. Here comes Patton 3 wide for 10th place right now, as Cody Smith got a little loose since he scraped the grass trying to give as much room to the people up top as possible. And someone we haven't talked about all race, Sam Nieto, making his way into the top 10 here. He's in 11th, and once he gets around Jacob Fife, he will be in 10th. I see John DeBarro starting to slide back a little bit in that 61 car back. He restarted, I believe, 3rd, and now he is all the way back to 8th. So he's starting to get swallowed by this field on fresher tires, as he's got Cody Smith and Sam Nieto right behind him, as Brad Patton running all the way near the wall, as Blake Cannon getting a big run on Ethan Lane. Crossover down the backstretch from top to bottom, and to the lead goes Blake Cannon in front of Ethan Lane. Still on the bottom lane here, going to try to give Ethan Lane as much dirty air as possible through the corner, but Lane with the draft and subsequent side draft pulls alongside into turn one of Blake Cannon for the lead. This is great news for Andrew Hamilton. As, sideways for Potter in the back. That number 99 got really sideways on the exit. He's able to keep it straight. But regardless of that, they are still battling for the lead here with 32 laps to go. Ethan Lane to the inside of Blake Cannon. And these two cars battling is going to do nothing but drag that 24 car closer, and by association also drag the 97 closer to him as well, as the 97 gets a big run on the 24. Willie tried to jump to the inside. Cannon is able to hold off Ethan Lane for the time being, but he's still choosing to run that middle lane, while Ethan Lane choosing to run that bottom one. And it's going to pay off in Lane being able to jump to the inside of Cannon. As I apologize for tripping over my words a little bit, just Ethan Lane's last name, and I use the word lane a lot to describe position on track. So Lane's lane when you think about it. But still, that 84 to the inside of Blake Cannon. And you can see that the 97 of Ward looking all the way up top. Tara Buck, someone we haven't talked about a lot, is in the fold as well, back in 6th place. So the top 6 all in a big group right here. But Ethan Lane to the inside of Cannon, as I think Lane got a little bit tight, and Cannon is really pinching, trying to keep the 84 down. A little bit of a wiggle on exit for that 44, but he's going to keep it straight. No passing opportunities for that 24, as you can see Brad Patton in the 9 car looking to the inside of Hamilton. He's gotten past Ward, and he might get past Hamilton if he gets the run here, as that was really close. I think Patton had to get out of it. Gets a little bit of a shot from the 97 when he had to get out of the gas. But Ethan Lane still locked to the side of Blake Cannon here, as they all file towards the top, except for Ethan Lane, who is continually trying to get past Cannon on the bottom here. Hamilton in the 24 looking to take a page out of Ethan Lane's notebook and run that bottom. Maybe that'll get him past 44. But we have the caution coming out, and I believe it is we have a car stopped back there. It's the 55 Dexter's Laboratory car, or Cartoon Network car I should rather say, of Fayash. Fayash, don't pull out in front of the leaders, man. Oh geez, that's not good. Let's see what brought out this caution. On lap 107. So looking at Randy Fayash coming out of the corner, you can see just how sideways he is on exit, and tries to correct it. And let's go of the brake, and kind of gets himself stuck up top. But Fayash able to get it going once again. As Blake Cannon still leading Ethan Lane and Andrew K. Hamilton, with coming to 25 laps to go here in the snow-free 200, as Ethan Lane dives into pit lane. Same with Pat and Tara Buck, Smith. Anyone else down pit road? Let's pull up the pit road graphic real quick. So we see Terrabuck, Smith, Fife, the 64 of, I believe that is Stagner. Yeah, Stagner, Davis, the 90, 96, the 88, Alex Kim's on there as well. DeBurro's on there. Lots of people on pit road for what might be the final time, as we were looking at Sam Nieto, who stayed out. Nieto has put himself in a good position. We know he's a very fast driver. And in fourth with 25 laps to go here at Old Atlanta, certainly a spot that you want to be in. And he might even have a set of tires remaining. I'm not told how many sets of tires they have remaining, but I'm sure that some people are using up their final sets here with 25 laps to go. And that will put a big advantage to those who saved an extra set if we get a late caution. But Blake Cannon going to lead Andrew Hamilton to the restart. And everyone from 11th on back has pitted. So we have 10 cars separating old tires from new tires. And from the pit times, everyone has taken tires. So it looks like there were 2 sets, perhaps 2 or 3 sets of tires, and people have either taken their second or third set. And Ethan Lane is going to be the one spearheading that initiative with Nick Terrabuck on his outside. We have some very fast cars. Looks like Jacob Fife has played his tire strategy great by staying out when everyone else came in a pit. So he's in a great position in 16th. Because when you think about it, he's 6th of the cars that have not taken tires this time by. So he's in a very good position for a big points day if this goes green to the end, which it very well might. But pace car is, and it's going to be Blake Cannon leading Andrew Hamilton and the rest of the field to the green flag in this very important restart. Cannon with a good restart. Hamilton did not get a very good restart, and he's going to hold up Sam Nieto a little bit in that 2 car, and a big gap from first to second as they're already going 3 wide back here. That's being led by Ethan Lane and Nick Terrabuck. 3 wide as Cody Smith gets a little sideways. They're all getting really squiggly on the exit of 2, but they're able to keep it straight. Terrabuck gonna follow Ethan Lane as they split the 82 of Eli Carr's. Carr's gonna get tight, and Terrabuck gonna get in the grass. Right in front of Jacob Fife. We're just talking about him. Caution's gonna be out. This is a catastrophe for Fife. The commentators curse as Eli Carr's rolls back down to the bottom. We're going to get a replay to see what happened on that, but I'm pretty sure it's just old tires got tight and people on new tires trying to get back going, or trying to get through the field to have a shot at the leaders with time winding down. But let's see what caused this to happen. So we're looking at Eli Carr's right now running the bottom lane, and it looks like he overshoots turn 3 a little bit. This allows Ethan Lane and the 34 of 34 Nolan Potter to his outside. So Ethan Lane moves to his bottom. Eli Carr's moves up to give Ethan Lane room, and it looks like Carr's just gets tight on the inside of Potter. And then Terrabuck trying to squeeze on through. Seeing this happening, Carr's gets into Nolan Potter and then bounces down into Terrabuck. Over the grass they go. Terrabuck getting loose, gets into Carr's, and right in front of Jacob Fife and the 50 of Kevin Matz. I believe that was Stagner who just barely avoided it. But yeah, and then around goes Matt. You can see Terrabook with some left front damage. Does Cody Smith avoid this? Oh, good avoidance by Smith and DeBarro. But yeah, that is so unfortunate for Matt, Terrabuck, and Eli Cars. That's the danger you face when you have to storm through the field and 10 plus cars in front of you are on older tires. But with this looks like Randy Fayash might be the lucky dog here, if I am not mistaken. No, I apologize. It's actually Sean Kalis in the 90 getting the lucky dog. But man, did Ethan Lane dodge a bullet there? He was able to get past Eli Cars and didn't have to slow down for that accident, so he gained positions and did not get damage doing that. And he's got a very good position right now. He's got cars on older tires behind him. He's got Bobby Keith and Nolan Potter behind him on older tires. And he's got and I'm saying that this is an advantage because he's got them behind him to serve as sort of like a barricade between him and the other cars on fresher tires. And he's just got nothing but older tire cars in front of him. 19 laps of difference between Troy Green to Blake Cannon on tires to Ethan Lane. Lane has to be licking his chops right now, really hoping that another caution does not come out, because this might give him the separation that he needs and the time to work his way to the front if another caution does not come out. Work his way to the front, and surely he will pass these cars on older tires. But that's one of the great things about Atlanta, is that the surface is so rough on these tires. You can see just how dark the track has become with how much rubber's been laid down in the different lanes. But it's going to be Blake Cannon leading the field with 19 laps to go. He's going to get a good start. Nieto a little bit squiggly on getting back up to speed. As you see, Lane gets in the grass a little bit, trying to get past Joe Yakes, and that's gonna slow him up a little bit. That's gonna and that might allow Brad Patton to be the first car on fresh tires, but there are 3 wide right in front of him trying to get past Yakes, and Patton stuck up top with the 29 of Troy Green right in front of him. Oh, Patton in the wall a little bit. He's going to get clear of Yakes. And he's actually still going to be ahead of Ethan Lane, but Lane is going to be on the bottom, and he really he's so fast on the bottom. But Patton gonna have a clean track in front of him. We got a car spinning in the back. That's David Davis in the back. I don't know who turned him around, but it was a very quick spin for him. And I tell you what, the person who benefited the most from that was Brad Patton. He gained a couple of spots on cars on the same tires as him. But let's get a replay going to see what happened to the 13 of David Davis. So looking at the 13 of David Davis, that gray car to the top of the green and white Castrol 87 of Yakes. Looks like, oh yeah, Davis got too close to the wall. It juts out just a little bit, and that bounced him right in front of Yakes. The 48 of Schetzler gets a little bit of damage. Great avoidance by, I believe that's the 47 of Don Stevenson. I don't think he got any damage out of that. So, good heads-up driving by him to not get in someone else's mess. And, you know, I'm starting to think that Blake Cannon to Troy Green really have used their last set of tires, because they're not choosing to pit. Of course, we do have some people diving down pit lane. Fife, Wetmore, Cars, McClendon, Kalis, Howe, Terabut, Kim, Davis. I mean, these are all drivers that were pretty damaged already. So nothing very shocking there. But now the discussion has shifted a little bit. We were talking about how Ethan Lane was in the prime position for position since he was the highest running car on fresher tires, but getting stuck behind Joe Yates, going in the grass a little bit, and then just not getting lucky with the lanes opening up like Brad Patton has allowed Ethan Lane to fall back to third of the cars on fresh tires, compared to Brad Patton, who, instead of having to deal with 10 plus cars on older tires in front of him, only has to deal with 5 cars. So he has half the workload that Ethan Lane originally had. And I mean, we saw it with Ethan Lane earlier in the race. You know, these cars on older tires tend to not get very good restarts because the track is just so low grip. And you can be a lot more aggressive getting to speed on restarts on fresher tires. So Brad Patton has to be sitting very pretty right now. But the question is, will we see a bunch more cautions as cars try to use their tire advantage to get through the field? Will we see a lot more cautions, maybe even go to green-white checkered territory here? But it's going to be, for about the nth time today, Blake Cannon leading the field to the green flag. 14 laps to go. Hopefully the last restart here. Pace car is in. And let's see how Brad Patton gets off the line, but it's going to be Blake Cannon with a good start. And it looks like no one in front of Patton gets wheel spin. But Patton also has DJ Stagner right behind him, and we've seen how fast Stagner is on the short run. Stagner already choosing to go to the high side, and Ethan Lane going into the middle. Patton kind of boxed in here on the high line with Hamilton right in front of him and Green to his inside. You see Sam Nieto battling Ward for the second position as they go 3 wide for fifth, with Patton trying to lead Ethan Lane and company past Green and Hamilton. Patton back to the top, Lane to the bottom, and Lane gonna file in right behind Patton. They are 3 wide in the back. You can see, I believe that was Bobby Keith scraping the wall and slow on exit. But now Patton, it's gonna be Patton and Lane trying to get past Sam Nieto. Lane to the inside of Patton, but Patton's gonna use Nieto as a pick here to force Lane to back off a little bit and go high. Patton running very high up here to get the biggest run possible, and he might be able to clear Nieto off the corner here with help from Lane. Nieto actually going to side draft Lane a little bit. That's not what Ethan Lane needs, as Patton going to get past Nieto and now has to work on Nicholas Ward. You can see Stagner in the back behind, and now Ethan Lane is clear of Sam Nieto. These drivers are sitting about 1/10 to 2/10 faster than the top 2 cars. Oh, Patton gets in the wall a little bit. This is going to open the door for Lane to get to his inside. Not going to be able to happen just yet, as Blake Cannon really wishes this race was about 5 to 10 laps shorter. But maybe he will be able to hold on with Patton and Lane pressing onwards, but they're still about a tenth to 2/10 faster than Cannon right now. Lane to the inside. Gonna slide up right behind Patton. They're right on the tail of Cannon and Ward. Is Ward gonna look to get past Cannon? This will definitely slow up the leaders if he does. Ward gonna go to the high line. Cannon to the middle, and looks like Patton's gonna follow Cannon. Ward gonna get a little bit sideways off the corner, but they keep it clean. Side by side for second place. Lane gonna go up top to bottom for Ethan Lane. As Patton gets really tight. He has to step out of it, and he can't really go any higher. As sideways for both Lane and Patton as they try to navigate Nicholas Ward. 3 wide for second place here with 8 laps to go. This is exactly what Blake Cannon wants to see in his rearview mirror, but Patton's gonna get clear of Ward. And so will Nicholas Lane. Well, not yet for Lane, but he soon will be coming into the corner. Nicholas Ward side drafting with Lane to hold him up just a little bit. And now it is Blake Patton and Nicholas Lane versus Blake Cannon. Cannon gets loose. He's trying to save the car. Here comes Patton to the inside on those fresher tires. They make contact into turn 3. Cannon's in the wall. Lane's looking to make a move on the bottom. You can see just how sideways that car got on entry. But it's going to be Brad Patton in the 9 car to the point with Ethan Lane following him. And you can see DJ Stagner. But the caution comes out. And it seems like we have a little bit of a kerfuffle in the back. We have a bunch of cars wrecking, it seems like, on the back straight. So with 6 laps to go here, let's see what brought out this caution to bring this calamitous final dash into what might be green-white checkered territory here. Ooh, that did a good number on my voice. So we are looking at Aaron Kovnat in the 91 coming out of turn 2. Look at that blue car. He scrapes the wall. And then he tries to get the car off the wall, comes down into Brant McClendon right in front of, I believe that is the 50, no, that's the 73 of Alex Kim. Right in front of him. So, yeah, so Alex Kim involved in this. Now, Wetmore trying to find where Kovnat's going to be and just go straight into the back of him. Not much that Kovnat could do, and then we saw just how hard Kim hit the wall, and then we see Faynash get loose trying to avoid this, and then involving Tom Howe, whose day has just gone from bad to worse here. As let's see the damage for some of these cars. It looks like Howe didn't get a lot of damage, but when he's 9 laps down, that's pretty much the last thing he needs. Is more damage on that 35 car. So we might have a restart with 2 to go here if my math checks out. And it's going to be, this looks like it's going to be a pure duel between Brad Patton and Ethan Lane. Both cars on fresher tires, and they have a complete row of cars separating them from DJ Stagner in 5th. So, depending on if this goes to a multiple green-white checker scenario, it might just be between Brad Patton and Ethan Lane. As let's see the pace car lights. Pace car lights are off. We will be going green flag racing with 2 laps to go. And the leaders on similar tires with a row of older tires cars behind him. If DJ Stagner wants any shot at this, he's going to need to pass. Nicholas Ward and Blake Cannon ASAP, and then have a caution come out before the white flag. So he's going to need to get a really good start, get past either Cannon or Ward, preferably both, to get into third, and then have a caution come out if Stagner wants any shot at this. But I think realistically it's going to be between Brad Patton and Ethan Lane for the win here. Both drivers have gone through hell and back through this race, to the back of the field, to the front. But we are going green flag racing. 2 laps to go here. It's going to be Brad Patton and Ethan Lane duking it out here. Green flag is out. Brad Patton with a heck of a start. Oh, Ethan Lane gets... Oh, no, Ethan Lane goes around. Ethan Lane around, including... Oh, and that's most of the front runners. Oh, geez. Lane got too excited, and a big stack up. A very big stack up. And that's got to be heart-wrenching for Ethan Lane. Let's get a better look at this. Oh, you hate to see this type of thing happen. It's so easy here at Atlanta because there's no banking to really catch you, and you just get loose so easily here with the low grip. So the green flag comes out. We're looking at Ethan Lane in the 84. And you can see Cannon gives Patton a great push. Lane just gets sideways, gets on the gas too much. Ward has nowhere to go as Lane's trying to catch it. Lane straight into the outside wall. And then that includes Cody Smith and then a bunch of others. Yeah, Smith, DeBarro, that's the 99 of Ryan Potter involved. We saw the 12 of McClendon spinning out. You see the 48 of Schetzler, and Cars is trying to avoid it. That is so unfortunate for a lot of these drivers. But someone who is very happy with the way that this played out, DJ Stagner. I said that he needed a caution to come out before the white flag, and that he needed to get past either Blake Cannon or Nicholas Ward. And both of those have come true, and it has taken the 84 of Ethan Lane right now. So it looks like, since I don't believe this league has a choose cone rule, it looks like Stagner is going to be starting on the inside of Patton. So realistically, the move for Stagner would be to get a good start, follow Patton past Blake Cannon. Maybe we'll see the bumper get used on the white flag if we make it to the white flag for the first green-white checkered here. Last time was not a green-white checkered. It was a restart with 2 to go in regulation. But oh man, the nerves have to be running high here for Brad Patton. He got a great restart with the help of Blake Cannon on that last one. Now he has Blake Cannon on his outside with older tires, but he's got someone on what may be equal, or depending on how Stagner has saved his tires, better tires than Blake Patton right behind him. So we are going to have a show here with this first green-white checkered of the night at Atlanta, and hopefully this will be the only one. But with how on edge these cars seem to have been, I will not be surprised if it is even more than that, with just how loose these cars get on restarts. For the first time tonight, Brad Patton, I keep saying Blake Patton, Brad Patton is going to lead the field to the green flag. Green, white, checkered, 1 out of 3. Green flag is in the air, and you know what? DJ Stagner with a great start. He got really close to the back end of Patton, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Now he needs to find a way to get past Cannon. Blake Cannon side drafting the heck out of Brad Patton. And Cannon might actually have a run here down the back straightaway, and he does. Cannon to the lead, but he's not clear of Patton just yet. Trying to get to the white flag. Cannon gets too tight. He's going to get in the wall. Blake Cannon in the wall. Stagner has to find a way around Cannon if he wants to have a shot at victory here. It's a 3-horse race as we go to the white flag. If they wreck, it doesn't matter. We will be seeing the checkered flag here on the first green, white, checkered. Patton gets tight in turn 1. Cannon in the wall. Cannon's going to lose speed. Here comes Stagner. What can DJ Stagner do in that number 64 car? Patton to the bottom. He's going to make one last shot on Blake Cannon in the 44. Can Blake Cannon hold off Patton? They are going to be side by side. We're going to have a photo finish here in Atlanta. It's going to be Blake Patton, I believe, just barely edging out Brad Patton by 1/100th of a second here at Atlanta. Oh my gosh, shades of Jeff Gordon and Kevin Harvick here as Blake Cannon on older tires able to outlast Brad Patton for the win, and DJ Stagner coming home in third. What a finish we just witnessed here at Atlanta. We will get your results open in just a moment. Final results here at Atlanta for the snow-free 200. It's Blake Cannon winning by just a nose over Brad Patton. And DJ Stagner comes home in third. Last car in the podium. Great run considering that Stagner started all the way in the back. Don Stevenson, another great run in fourth, coming for that 47 car. Showed up when it mattered the most, and it nets him a top 5 finish. Andrew Hamilton comes home in fifth. Bobby Keith in sixth. Trevor Trago, another car who started all the way in the back, in seventh. Didn't speak about him at all, but he comes home in seventh in that number 37. Sam Nieto in eighth in that number 2 car. Nick Taraba recovers from that wreck that took him out of contention with a 9th place finish. Troy Green in 10th. In 11th is going to be the 96 of Josh Gallagher, another car we didn't speak about all race. Same with Matthew Cornell. Ryan Bean recovers to 13th place after leading a good chunk of the early goings of this race. John DeBarro in 14th, then followed by Eli Cars and Brock Potter 15th and 16th. Rough races, both those cars respectively. I think they're happy to just be going on to the next race. David Davis in 17th at number 13. Joe Yakes in 18th in the number 87. Then followed by Nate Campbell and Ryan Potter. Outside of the top 20, it's Nicholas Ward in the 97, followed by Alex Kim and Randy Fayash. Sean Callis in the number 90 comes home in 24th, and Brant McClendon with a strong early race finishes with a disappointing 25th. Christopher Schetzler in 26th as Jacob Fife, your first car, 1 lap down. Cody Smith and Ethan Lane did not finish this race, then followed by Tom Wetmore, who comes home with a 30th place finish after destroying the wall in turn 3. And then Nolan Potter in the 34 and 31st, followed by Thomas Lynn, Tom Howe, Aaron Eads, Aaron Kovnat, and then your cars that retired from today's event. Kevin Matz, Robert Richardson, Alan Rowell, Eric McFarland, Austin Carjulis, Matt Janus, and Zach Schreitenthal. Let's get a replay of your finish here just to see how crazy that was. So coming out of turn 4, Brad Patton on the bottom, Blake Cannon on the top. Patton is making up a ton of ground between these two drivers with those fresher tires. They're about dead even when they hit the restart zone. And then it looks like Cannon actually doors Patton a little bit to kill his momentum. Here comes Stagner to the inside. And then it's a drag race to the line between these two. You can see in the back Keith and Hamilton battling, but it's a drag race to the checkers. It's Cannon and Patton making contact again, and Stagner hoping that they get in the wall, but it is not in the cards for him. And wow, what a finish here at Atlanta between Blake Cannon and Brad Patton. We will go on standby in just a moment to get interviews set up, so please stand by. Okay, we are back for the Integrity Next Gen series for the Snow Free 200. And we're waiting for interviews to start going. So let's see. No one in the waiting room right now. Let's see. Blake. Might have to drag him. But what a finish that we saw here. I'm just waiting for drivers to get into the waiting room. Well, I'm I'm still replaying that that finish in my head. What a crazy finish. As the first person to join the waiting room right now is going to be Brad Patton. So let's get him in the booth. All right, we got second place finisher Brad Patton losing a nail biter here at Atlanta. You got a copy?
I got you. You got me?
Yes, I do. So, man, you played the strategy game perfectly. Everything with the tires and the lines in front of you worked out. So you were in the front on the final green white checkered. What could have gone differently to ensure that you were 1/100th ahead of Blake Cannon, not the other way around?
Well, me being the smart person that I am, I chose the inside line because, hey, I thought, that's what it was. I forgot all about the choose rule, and I've been running high the whole time. So I would have chose the outside, obviously, and had nice little runs off the corners like he was having. So, yeah, we came from the back twice. Missed my pit stall on the first stop, so I had to go back in and go to the back of field again after I worked myself from 41st to like 12th. And then the second time, I went from 32nd or something like that up to the top 10 for stage points there. So from that point on, it was just, hey, we collected some points for stage, which is good. And let's just gradually work our way to the front. The car was getting pretty loose because, like I said, ran the high line the whole time. yeah, I don't know what else I could have done. I mean, I could have doored him. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to be aggressive this year, but I'm not trying to be that aggressive. Uh, I like a little drag race to the end, and to lose by 9/1000ths of a second, I'll take it.
Yeah, man, and we saw earlier in the race that you mentioned getting loose. You made some very good saves, and some saves that I thought that other people weren't able to recover from. So, what I mean, you don't have to spill your secrets if you don't want to, but what's the secret behind, saving these cars? Because when I've driven these cars, you get loose, it's kind of like a death cycle. Like you try to save it, it just whips around and then it just doesn't find the grip again. So, and you seem to be able to uh, keep the car very well composed even when it was sliding.
Yeah, I'm not going to give out that secret. If people know what it is, if they know what it is, if they don't,
All
no, I
right,
can't help you on
all
that
right.
one. But
Well, it's a good thing I had a backup question. Um, so when you saw Ethan Lane spin out on that restart, what was your reaction? Because that had to be huge for you since that was pretty much your number one competitor to that point in terms of tires.
honestly, I didn't even know he spun out until he said that he was the cause of the caution. I was like, wait, what the heck just happened? And then he told us that he got loose on the shifting or something on that restart. I was like, okay, well, he's out of here. I was like, who's been running up front though? Then, well, Blake's been up there, Nick's been up there. I mean, there was a few drivers. DJ, he was fast all night. Me and him worked our way from the back to the front. So I mean, there was a couple guys. I was hoping Ethan stayed in it though. That way, him and Blake could battle, and I could try to pull away from them. I mean, those two were the class of the field, but yeah, I mean, I'll take my P2 and I'll walk out of the old Atlanta because I hate this track, and we'll go to a track I hate even more and see if I can get a good result there.
So yeah, with that, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank to ride this good momentum from a second place finish into next week?
Oh, I got plenty. I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Thank for Integrity for running this awesome league. I got to thank Wanted Goons. That's our organization. My teammate Trevor Trago didn't have the best of luck tonight, but it's finally nice to say I have a teammate again in here. OG Sim Products. It's an Australian company that does gloves and sim racing gear. Maconi Setup Shop. Um, we've got quite a few sponsors. I got too many to list right now, but and I can't think of them, which is bad for my part. But I'll just thank everybody else for watching. Hopefully, we put on a good finish there and brings you back next week to watch another awesome race.
Well, you certainly did put on a good finish for the viewers at home. That's the number 9 of Brad Patton coming home just short in a very strong second place finish. We will see you next week.
I'll be there. Congrats, Blake.
And speaking of Blake, we got our race winner, Blake Cannon, in the booth right now. Blake Cannon coming home in a nail biter, victorious. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
So, man, I saw earlier in the race, you stayed out quite a while, and then took took tires, and then worked your way gradually through the field. What was your pit strategy for this race? Now that it's all said and done.
I knew the tire limit was kind of small based on the amount of laps we were gonna have to go and how quick the fall off was. So that first run, I was super saving, just biding my time behind Ethan and letting a lot of them guys go and burn their stuff up. And then, eventually we reeled them back in like I knew we would. And then we had a caution, and it was like, man, I want to pit for fuel just to make sure I can go longevity, but there's no way I was gonna take tires that early. Um, I didn't think I'd be the only one to do that strategy, but I was, and I went from, the lead all the way back to like 26 or something, like barely hanging on. So the caution came out when I needed it to, and it really put me back in a prime position where I needed to be. Was able to be on fresh rubber than a lot of guys, and then at that point, I just, didn't want to get myself in trouble, didn't want to burn my stuff up, didn't want to abuse my car, didn't want to use up every inch of rubber I had getting back to the front. So then it was more methodical, slow, easy, and then once I got back up front, and then had track position with Ethan and all them guys, it was just about being smart, and then everybody was on the same tire strategy there at the end. I wish I would have pitted with Ethan and Brad to be a little bit more on the offensive side, but I didn't want to put myself back there in the middle of the pack and risk getting taken out.
So yeah, it certainly paid. Your strategy certainly paid off in spades, considering that it got you the win. But since we're on the topic of the win, what was your strategy for that last restart? Because Brad told me, he's been running the top the entire time, and then he forgot that there was a choose cone rule, and that he chose the inside. So did that kind of catch you off guard? And were you having to like adapt on older tires running that faster highline?
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't run the high line really all night except for, one or two laps. I was really migrated myself in the middle of the entire race. So I wasn't really caught off guard when he didn't choose the top. A lot of times it goes unnoticed if, late in the race you've got your mind on trying to get a good restart where you want to launch at in the box. So a lot of times it goes unnoticed on what line you're going to pick. So it didn't catch me off guard. I knew that I had to roll him. I got a good start the first start when Ethan spun his tires. I had a really good start that restart. So I kind of had a feeling he was going to wait just past the entry of the box. So I started to roll him and really timed the restart perfect. And, was able to keep them side by side through 1 and 2. And then at that point, it was just, hitting your marks and trying to keep it off the wall, which I hit the wall one time, but I knew the top side would have more momentum down the straightaway. So that's why I, didn't even worry about being up there.
Well, said like the words of a winner, which you are. So before we let you go and celebrate your win, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank?
I just want to shout out to Brad. Looking back, I kind of put us both in a bad position there with about 5-6 laps to go. So that's on me, and I apologize to him for that. But just super happy, man. Super happy for the Roadhouse Motorsports guys. We all showed speed tonight with Eric running really good, and then Tom also leading some laps. So, hopefully this is going to be a good year for our team. I feel really good about the group of guys we've got. I feel really good being back with integrity. We've got a lot of fast guys, a lot of veterans, and man, it's just so much fun and enjoyable to race with these guys. They push you every lap. So 134 laps, you're on the edge. So shout out to all the guys in the league, all the admins, Jacob for, taking time out of his life and putting us first. So thank him. Thank you guys. I know Dave is not here, but thank you for filling in. Everybody at FTN, we really do appreciate all the broadcast. And, hopefully we can just keep the train rolling and keep some momentum going.
Well, that's your race winner, Blake Cannon, hoping to keep this winning momentum going into next week. And I might not be here because David will finally get back home, since he's not going to be stuck in a foreign place anymore after tomorrow. So it'll probably be someone else interviewing you next week if you carry this good momentum. But that's Blake Cannon, our winner. We will see you next week.
Thank you, Garrett.
All right. And DJ Stagner said that he had to run after the race, so we will not be interviewing him, but a good result from him to round out your top 3. And with that all said and done, I can change the camera to scenic. And that concludes tonight's broadcast of the Integrity Racing League Next-Gen Series, the Snow-Free 200 at Old Atlanta. We got to witness a very awesome finish here at Atlanta. Very glad to have you here watching. Very glad to be able to witness that finish. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Fireball Talks NASCAR. Thank you to David to allow me to fill in for him while he's not able to broadcast. And thank you for watching. Big thanks to SKS Graphics and Andrew Schulte for their help with the ticker. That looks very nice at the top of the screen. Of course, you can't see it anymore now that I've hidden it. My name is Garrett Hess. You are watching Fireball Talks NASCAR, and thank you for watching. Have a great